Record. All right, we're gonna go soon. And just to make sure that I'm saying your last name right, Petrocelli.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, perfect. So hi, friends. I'm here with Catherine Petrocelli, who is one of our college admissions essay coaches. That's a mouthful, huh? And we're going to have a little conversation this evening about college essays because the season is upon us for those for early admission, right, Catherine?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We're rolling.
We're rolling. And you're joining us this evening from Ireland.
Yeah. Yeah. My family has recently relocated to Ireland, the west coast of Ireland. But I'm happy that I can still be connected with the community classroom.
And we are super happy too, though we do miss you in the classroom. So, Catherine, how did you get into the world of college essays? What was the journey?
It's kind of three-pronged for me. So I come at it as a writer, as a teacher, and as a mom. So as a writer, I'm a working writer who is often sending my pieces out to big admission pools and hoping that someone likes what I wrote. So I'm aware of like trying to catch attention and following all kinds of admissions requirements, all that kind of thing. And the writing process itself, of course. And then as a teacher, I have worked creatively with high schoolers, but I've also taught freshman college courses in composition and things like this. So I'm aware of the kind of that age group and what they're putting down on paper and kind of where they're struggling with that. And I'm also the mom of an 18-year-old son who just last year went through the college admissions process and the essay writing. So that's kind of where I come in from, lots of points of view.
Thanks, Catherine. I want to go back and ask you just something about something you said. So you're a professional writer. You get paid for writing. I remember back when I was having conversations with my mom about college majors, she's like, what are you going to do with that major? Because I really loved writing too. So just to put this out there, you can be a professional writer and make a living out of it.
Yeah, you can if you don't mind, doing, some hustle, if you don't mind piecemealing. It doesn't hurt if you like teaching, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was less about college essays, more about telling my parents that they were wrong. But anyway, back on topic. Back on topic. So let's jump to some myths about writing and college essays. Can you bust a few myths for us? And I feel like we should have like the Mythbusters like theme song coming on here. But
Yeah, no, we should totally have graphics across the screen.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, my son, the one who's the 18-year-old, actually had a Mythbusters birthday party when he was 10.
What?
So yeah, dry ice. I was the coolest mom ever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but yeah, I would love to bust some writing myths. The one of the big ones I feel like is that okay, this is hard, and this is hard because I'm just not good at writing. That is not usually true, or not necessarily true, because writing is just hard. Writing is hard, and it makes it kind of an unpopular activity sometimes with certain set of folks. It's not going to necessarily be tons easier. I mean, it's obviously like anything, like the muscle is worked, it's practiced, and all of that. But if you're starting a new piece, whatever it is, you're starting from the beginning every time, and you might have a different developmental course to that piece. So, writing is a process. Some of that process involves getting stuck, spending time not knowing if it's going to really come out to what you thought it was going to be, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not you, it's writing. So that's one of the big ones. Another big one is that you should know where you're going when you start. Like you should know what you want to say when you start writing. I rarely know where I'm going to end up when I begin. And so the best writing is about discovery. So if something is like, you can feel the heat of something for yourself, like there's a vibrancy around a certain topic. You don't have to know exactly, what the lesson is or what you want to say about that right at the get-go. Start the process. I mean, I'm doing this because I still write by hand, but whatever it is, if you're at the keyboard, the momentum of getting going has a lot to do with finding out what you think. And so you've had the experience and maybe you've reflected on it a little bit, but the writing about it is another stage, and you might discover something new again. And I'll give you one more if you have the time, which is, I think a lot of young people think you have to start at the beginning. Like, okay, I'm going to start now. I'm going to start my essay. Here's my intro. The first sentence is something else that, at least for me personally, I rarely do. I'm often like, writing notes or writing kind of journal type of things down first, and piecing things together. Like, what am I interested in? What do I already know? I have no idea yet how I'm going to enter this essay, intro wise, or what my thesis is, or I'm not thinking about those kinds of rules. I'm thinking about what am I excited about in what I want to say.
That's such good advice, not only for college essays, but for any kind of writing. I have like a whole page of notes. So thank you so much, Catherine. It's not you, it's writing. There's such a large cognitive load with writing, right? Like, we're asking so much of people, we're asking so much of kids to know where you want. Your best writing is about discovery. You just need that kind of momentum. And 3, you don't have to start at the beginning. That's a hard one for me because I was raised in the school of like the 5-paragraph essay intro.
Sure.
Right. Like, yeah. So we have to bust that myth, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you want to have fun, right? You want to, I mean, and I've just talked about how much hard work writing is. So at the very least, bring in what you're most excited about, and for some people that structure is going to be what works. But for other people, it's not. I spoke to a young person who, she starts all of her writing talking to herself about her topic aloud in her room.
Oh, I love it.
That's brilliant, right? Because it's all about story. We all know story. And so if things have to be mutually exclusive, like if I had to pick, okay, you can only write with the writing rules that, you've gotten drilled into you, or you can only write down the way you would speak to someone over lunch and tell them a story, I would go with that second option. Now, in an ideal world, of course, we're taking from both those worlds, but yeah, we want to connect. We want to engage our reader.
Good lesson. There's no one size fits all. Catherine, you should do this for a living. You're really good. You're really good and knowledgeable. Okay. So thinking about college essays, in full transparency, I'm going through this as a parent, as a step parent, as well as someone who runs an organization that helps families with academic situations like this. But what are some tips that you would give young people and families for getting college essays right?
Yeah, I mean, something that I wrote about in the blog post that I did for the classroom recently was about really kind of trying to take a moment to acknowledge the context that you're in. I mean, it's such a pressurized time. It's an exciting time. It's a super social time. Thank goodness we're not in lockdown anymore, right? But, there's so much going on with these last years of high school, and there's just a lot. It just feels like the stakes are so high for the student and for the parent or guardian. And I feel like, trying to kind of tweak our mindset and set ourselves up to go into writing the college essay, it's going to be time well spent. So things like, for example, you know, kind of going into it on your own terms. Like, you get to pick your topic. You know, you get to define the terms. So, you know, make this the first step of the fresh start. Those colleges wouldn't be colleges without students, you know, and you have something to offer. It's not just a begging game, right? It's not just, you know, hoping and crossing your fingers. So I would say going into the writing, brainstorm, take your time, take a few days to make lists, make bubbles, take a shower and think about your essay, go to bed with a question in your head, you know, take a walk and, you know, try to kind of like, you know, you're not just kind of putting it on the back burner to goof off, you know, be conscious about it. Be conscious about your subconscious. You know, be conscious about, you know, that you are intending, you know, this essay to happen. But you know, part of the process is really kind of trying to tap into what do I care enough about to write, and I think it's also important to remember that these essays are short. You can't tell a full story from beginning to end. You need to sacrifice some of that and go for depth. You need to give us, you know, set us up with what we need to know to understand, you know, who is in this story and what the stakes are, and then dive in, give us a sensorial experience, give us colors, give us tastes, give us right, these kinds of things, because the weird thing is that what's going to make your essay stand out to admissions officers is the one that's particular, the one that's so that feels personal and really particular to who you are. So that's one of those paradoxes in writing, is the particulars become universal, and of course you want to stand out. You know, and you've got these admissions officers that are reading so many essays. So be honest, you've got nothing to lose. You know, be honest, put it out there, and include detail.
Now, I might be going off, might be going off script. I'm going off script for a second, Catherine, and I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. When admissions officers are reading these essays, do they have a rubric? How are they scoring them or reading them? And you might not know the answer to that. We might have to find it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I don't know all the answers to that. I know that in many cases, those applications are farmed out to different readers. You know, and then of course you're going to have some kind of rubric, but in the end, it's going to be, you know, something that grabs the attention, and what's going to grab attention is going to be a fully fleshed out sort of experience that you can picture, and that you can smell or whatever as a reader, right? So yeah, I would say if you have your eye on a particular school or a couple particular schools, look at those particular schools' websites and see what they are recommending, see what their admissions officers are saying to you, because many of them, of course, have advice, have particular resources that they're using as their backup. So check in with that. I mean, if you want to be part of that club, it only makes sense.
Yeah, do your research. Super smart.
Yeah, and you can also, of course, access lots of examples online of successful essays, and you want to look at sources you trust, and you want to find a couple examples that you like, and then say, oh, okay, well, that person started with a question. I didn't even think about, opening my essay with a question. Maybe I'll take that, right? It's okay to borrow, right? You're not plagiarizing, right? You're going to write your own question. So I think there's a lot of kind of nervousness around, AI, other kinds of plagiarism that, we can't copy anything, we can't follow anyone. If somebody uses an amazing, set of vocabulary and you think you can use it too, like it doesn't sound weird coming out of your voice, take those words and put them in your own story. You know, you're gonna create your own story of them. So you can really kind of gain permission, I feel like sometimes, from looking at these examples online of things that you think, oh yeah, I can do that.
It's like getting on Instagram and looking for like wardrobe inspiration, right? Like you're looking for ideas to inspire you. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, good writers are readers, right? So yeah. And then you're looking at exactly the form that you're going to be writing in.
Do you have to be a good writer to write a good college admissions essay?
Well, I mean, I think what's a good writer, you know,
Right.
and what labels do you want to carry with you and don't you?
Yeah.
You know, you're getting this new chance to redefine yourself. You know, you're not going to be with the people that have known you since fourth grade when that thing happened on the field trip and you fell on the bus. You know, you don't need to deal with that anymore, right? You are a new person with a fresh start.
Yeah.
So a good writer, a bad writer, I don't like those. I don't like those terms. So you know, you have a task, you have abilities, you have experiences, you know story because you're a human being living on the planet. And you can find the kind of support that you need as well, whether that is, you know, going to a teacher that you trust who knows you, right? Because a lot of the big lists online, they're anonymous. They don't know they don't know who you are. In other words, that's not really anonymous. Wrong word. But you know, if you go to a teacher or a guidance counselor, hey, I'm still looking for a topic for my college essay, or I'm trying to write about this topic, it's not working out. Just even just having them know that you're writing it, they might be able to provide a little bit of support in the moment. They might follow up with you. So nobody does anything alone. So it's not like, okay, I'm not a good writer. I'm not going to get a good, you know, here I am. I know it's not going to turn out okay, but I got to just do my best and hope for the best. Nobody works in isolation like that. So, you know, in the business world, in the creative world, in the big world that, you know, all of these young people are moving into, you know, you collect a team of folks. So, or source resources, right? And whether that is something online and your guidance counselor, or, you know, you can do this. I think you have to trust your intuition and, you know, kind of take hold of this as a fresh start. Does that answer your question at all?
Yeah. I feel like every caregiver or parent should play that last like 2 minutes for their young person who's getting ready to write their college essay. That was an amazing pep talk. I want to write a college essay now. I'm ready.
I mean, it's to be able to communicate well in writing. And the only, you know, and so, you know, start practicing. I once brought into my composition class, it was election time. I was living in California, and I brought into my freshman students at the university the bios or the descriptions that the candidates for this election had written of themselves. It was, you know, a local election. And you know, you could just read those little paragraphs and know like how important, you know, clear communication is. Because some of them you're like, I don't know what they mean. That's why you share your writing with folks too. You share your drafts.
Yeah.
And so again, like you're not alone. Like being a leader doesn't mean being alone.
I love that. Yeah, feedback is so important. So where can families go for more resources?
Yeah, well, I think I'd be cautious of getting overwhelmed with like the amount, the breadth of stuff online. I think more resources really should be those example essays,
Yeah.
right? The teachers or the guidance counselors who, again, know you personally. And so you can, you know, get a little bit of personal feedback. and those universities that you're targeting, those websites.
I love it. That just, for me, took what is an overwhelming thing to think about, the amount of resources that are out there, and think of it in such like a streamlined way. And I love the idea of thinking of people as resources, because really sometimes people are our most valuable resources.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Any last words of wisdom?
Just to trust yourself, and there's so many routes to where you want to go. Just write if you can, write a few essays. Write a 5-minute essay. Write 3 5-minute essays. See what's there. See what you have to say. And what's exciting. See if you can get that sort of kernel of what you want to share to come through. And I bet you can.
You are such a beautiful communicator and so knowledgeable in this topic, Catherine. Thank you so much. And to my middle stepson, Sean Flynn, I hope you watched this and I hope you heard every word. I'm just kidding. All right. Thank you so much, Catherine. And we'll make sure to
thanks. Thank you. Thanks so much for talking to me.
Yeah,
it's fun.
And we'll post a link to Catherine's blog on college admissions essays, and also information for how to get in touch with us for college essay coach, Catherine. Thanks everybody for watching this evening.